Hey, welcome back, my friends. Do you remember the Mummy movies? No, I'm not talking about the 1930s one. No, I'm not talking about the Tom Cruise one either. See, I'm talking about the best Mummy movies ever made, starring Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz. It's 1999. I'm over at my Uncle Bill's house for a family get-together.
Oh, hi. I'm filming this right now so you don't think I'm still fat. You know what I'm saying? Woo!
On this particular evening, we were leafing through my uncle's Laserdisc collection when a movie caught my eye. So we popped that big ol' stinking disc into the player, and we loved it. The first two films in the series never get old, and while the CGI might not hold up at all, it doesn't matter because everyone's having a blast on screen. It was like Indiana Jones for a new generation. Then they made the third film, Tomb of the Dragon Emperor, an animated series, video games, and 5 Scorpion King movies, most of which went direct to video. So what do you do when you've only seen 2 out of 8 films in a series? You watch all of them. You dig deep, and you uncover everything. And I'm not worried, you know why? Because I know in my heart, it can't be that bad. Having said that, we might as well split the Mummy and Scorpion King movies into 2 separate videos, just for my sanity and possibly yours. So sit back, relax, dust off the Book of the Dead, and let's reawaken a dormant franchise. The Mummy originated way back in 1932, starring the legendary Boris Karloff. After the success of Dracula and Frankenstein in 1931, Universal wanted to continue their classic monster franchise with The Mummy. When Universal Studios decided to do a remake of the 1932 film, they had no idea just how long a road that would be. In a nutshell, starting in the late 80s, Universal tried to get a low-budget horror remake of The Mummy off the ground. Eventually, after trying desperately to keep the budget low and failing, Universal Studios decided to cough up more money and broaden the scope of the film. The director's chair ultimately went to Stephen Sommers, who pitched the film as a mashup of Indiana Jones and Jason and the Argonauts. His version was more of an adventure film than a straight-up horror movie. Before The Mummy, Stephen Sommers directed The Adventures of Huck Finn, The Jungle Book, and Deep Rising. The Jungle Book especially showed that Sommers could deliver a period piece epic with heart. He spent a year working on the script for The Mummy, getting it to where it needed to be. Hey, you know what? Why don't we just start watching The Mummy, shall we? The movie starts in ancient Egypt.
Wouldn't you have loved to live in ancient times like this?
There's no AC. The pharaoh's soon-to-be wife, Anck-su-namun, is having an affair with the high priest, Imhotep. Face off.
Face.
They get caught by the king, so they stab him to death, which is just bad sportsmanship,
Stop that shit!
Imhotep escapes, and Anck-su-namun unalives herself before the royal guards get a chance.
Anck-su no more.
Shut up.
Later, Imhotep tries to resurrect her, but his plans get interrupted by the pharaoh's men. Imhotep and his priests are mummified alive.
This is like the boo box from Hook.
Oh, yeah.
The boo box.
It's kind of horrific, actually.
And a powerful curse is placed on whoever uncovers his remains. If resurrected, Imhotep will unleash death and destruction on the world. Cut to 1926, where we meet up with our hero, Rick O'Connell, as he narrowly escapes an attack at the deadly location of Hamunaptra. The role of Rick O'Connell was first offered to Brad Pitt, Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, and Tom Cruise. Cruise would eventually take a starring role in the 2017 remake of The Mummy. In 1997, Brendan Fraser had a hit movie with Disney's live-action remake of George of the Jungle. It also didn't hurt that his asking price was much lower than the other actors that were offered the role. Stephen Sommers chose Brendan Fraser because he didn't take the character too seriously, so the audience would feel more comfortable going on the journey with him.
Bet you all those big jumps he did really hurt his back.
Sommers cast Rachel Weisz as Evelyn. She went through a bunch of auditions before securing the part. She's perfect in the role, instantly likable and irreplaceable. That will become more obvious later on in this video. The likable John Hannah was cast as her brother Jonathan, Venezuelan model Patricia Vasquez as Anck-su-namun, and Oded Fehr as the Magi warrior Ardeth Bey. And Arnold Vosloo was cast as Imhotep after working with Mummy producer James Jacks on the Jean-Claude Van Damme film hard target. Anyway, we meet up with Evelyn, a plucky librarian.
They did this for real.
In one take.
And if it didn't work, they'd have to do it over again.
I'm so glad it happened in one take. It's beautiful.
Looks so good.
Who is given a mysterious box by her scheming brother Jonathan. It holds a map inside that she believes leads to the ancient city of Hamunaptra, which is full of buried treasure. But they don't know how to get there. They go to Rick O'Connell to negotiate a deal.
Apparently, he had a very good time.
Very good time. She just steps over him.
If they can break him out of prison, he'll take them where they need to go.
Her eyebrows are very thin, though.
That was at the time.
His eyebrows are not thin.
No.
The prison warden agrees to let Rick go if he can have a percentage of the treasure as well.
To protect my investment!
Thank you very much.
On this movie, Brendan Fraser wanted to prove himself as an action star, so he pushed himself hard, performing a lot of his own stunts. But this almost resulted in a tragedy. During the scene where his character almost meets his end with a noose, he actually passed out and had to be resuscitated right then and there.
All I remember is this sort of volume kind of like sound going, ew. And then the next thing I know, my elbow is in my ear and there's all these medics going, hello, Brendan, wake up. And the stunt guy runs up to me and goes, hey, great, join the club. Mel Gibson did the same thing on Braveheart.
Fraser said that the stunt work led to a number of injuries and subsequent surgical procedures, including repairs to his vocal cords, a partial knee replacement, and a spinal procedure called a lumbar laminectomy. Well, if it's worth anything to Brendan, he certainly earned his place as a great action star. On the way to Hamunaptra, our heroes find out that another group of Americans are also setting out for the same location.
That guy tried out for Rick O'Connell,
No.
but the director liked him, so he put him in it.
The group has hired Benny, an ex-friend of Rick who left him to die during a battle at the beginning of the movie.
Did you see his outline?
Yeah.
But you must finish the job.
So I must go all the way.
Their ship is attacked, and they have to improvise another route.
Do the teamwork.
She saves him twice.
The guy's wearing a mask.
I love those legs.
Even the bad guys, they're just sort of like likable. Right? Even like Benny.
Think of my children.
You don't have any children.
Someday I might.
Shut up.
I know, Benny's likable too.
Everyone eventually arrives at Hamunaptra. It took 17 weeks of filming in Morocco and outside of a small town in the Sahara Desert. There were daily sandstorms, intense heat, and a good chunk of the crew got bit by scorpions, spiders, or snakes. It got so hot that the cast and crew had to drink a specially made liquid that kept them extra hydrated throughout the day, probably chock full of electrolytes and other goodies.
It's got electrolytes.
I love you.
Rachel Weisz has a very wide-eyed, young energy.
Her arc through the two movies is noticeable.
She's a little bit more competent in the second film.
I don't think I ever noticed that part.
Really?
Really?
Oh, I always notice it. It's so funny.
He said bugs.
You mean bugs?
I hate bugs.
I hate bugs.
The Americans uncover a cursed chest holding the Book of the Dead and jars with the organs of a Noxunamun in them. Meanwhile, Rick and his group find Imhotep's sarcophagus. They're warned by the Magi leader, Ardith, to leave or they will die. Evelyn's curiosity gets the better of her as she reads from the Book of the Dead and awakens Imhotep.
That really happens in parts of the world, the locusts.
What have we done?
Imhotep comes for the people who open the chest one by one. Each time he sucks the life force from them, it makes him regenerate and grow stronger.
Wait, does this mean the mummy inherited bad eyesight? That guy couldn't see without his glasses.
It doesn't matter.
Okay? That's the writer. No, you see, because shut up. These guys are like the red shirts from Star Trek.
Yeah.
You always knew who was going to die because they were wearing red shirts.
Benny is confronted by Imhotep, but is spared because he's a sniveling double-crosser who agrees to serve the mummy for the rest of his days. And there's some bonus pay.
His convoluted faith.
I know.
As Imhotep regains his powers, he unleashes a plague of locusts.
Remember in I Am Legend how their mouths stretched out like that?
Yeah, that didn't make any
They
sense.
didn't make sense. This makes, I guess.
'Cause he's a mummy.
He's supernatural. He's
Yeah.
supernatural.
He unleashes fireballs, turns water into blood, and causes darkness to fall over the land.
Good kitty.
The townspeople turn into zombies that follow him blindly.
Imhotep. Imhotep. People with a different opinion in social media.
Yes.
Imhotep.
Imhotep kidnaps Evelyn and plans on sacrificing her to bring Anck-su-namun back to life. Rick and the gang follow Imhotep back to Hamunaptra.
He's happy.
He's very happy. The wind in my hair feels good. One man, one wing, two girls, one cup. There's a bug on his head.
Yeah, on the fez.
Reminds me of Stephen Sommers' other movie, Jungle Book.
Yes.
He had a room like this, except for it had like the snake. Don't throw the guns. I would never throw my gun away.
I know.
You know?
Save it for when you have more bullets.
I love the mummy ride at Universal Studios because it would do this ride all the way and then it stopped and you think, oh, that's it. And then it would reverse you, which was
yeah.
even scarier. It was great. It's like a water ride. Ivan Ooze.
Hey, yeah, reminds me of that.
This part, he's fighting no one, right?
Oh.
So these are all CGI. So he's doing like swinging at nothing, but it looks good. He had to remember like where everyone was gonna be.
Twist it on.
You know those 8 hours of rain things on YouTube? They should do 8 hours of Rick O'Connell being thrown. That apostrophe was very high.
And, spoiler alert, Imhotep is defeated,
Getting major Stargate vibes right there.
Benny dies, and Rick, Evelyn, and Jonathan ride off into the desert with a heap of treasure.
No one ever sweats in these movies. All right.
Good stuff.
On a budget of $80 million, The Mummy made a whopping $416 million at the worldwide box office. The morning after the first Mummy's theatrical release, Universal called director Stephen Sommers and said, "We need another one." So, Sommers got to work. The Mummy Returns starts off with a story about the Scorpion King in ancient Egypt. After being defeated in battle, he offers his soul to the god of the underworld in exchange for the ability to defeat his enemies. The god accepts his offer and grants him great powers and an army of jackals, I don't know, dog people, I don't know. Anyway, they kill off his enemies, but then Anubis immediately sucks the Scorpion King's soul out of his body and the army gets sent back to the underworld. Dwayne Johnson debuted as the Scorpion King in a small part. This was his first role that had nothing to do with wrestling. During production, he suffered from food poisoning and sunstroke, which made him lose 10 pounds.
He's doing the James Rolfe mouth acting. My underwear! Shut up. Grow up.
This is how he acts.
Flash forward to the 1930s. Rick and Evelyn are married and they're exploring another ancient tomb. They have a mischievous son now named Alex.
No, it's not Alex. It's Gordon Ramsay's son.
Gordon Ramesses. Now that we have a son, I like his character even more.
Oh, I know. He's so cute.
Ugh, the tarantulas are gross. Probably because we have those in our basement.
They find the ancient bracelet of the Scorpion King.
Just take the bracelet, don't take the heavy box.
Yes. History repeats itself.
And bring it back to London.
I'm gonna say it. I like him a little better than Indiana Jones. He's a one-woman kind of guy and family-oriented, and I like that.
Alex fiddles with the bracelet and it locks onto him, and it shows visions of different locations in Egypt.
Watch this be a cod piece. Oh!
A what?
A cod piece. It covers the Dickens.
The house is then attacked by a cult intent on resurrecting Imhotep.
Right there, you turn it off? Oh yeah.
Shh, they're not gonna see us coming. Shh.
I think not.
People should keep coming out of the woodwork here.
I know. And then and I think not. Wouldn't the bullets?
I don't think that.
Yeah.
As new homeowners, that's painful. I love that trick. Stunt guy up there, then they pop up. I love that trick.
They kidnap Evelyn and take her to the museum. The cult is led by a now reincarnated Anck-su-namun. They resurrect Imhotep.
That guy feels awkward.
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna leave you guys alone for a little bit.
And offer Evelyn up as a sacrifice. Rick and the Magi warrior, Ardith, swoop in to rescue her.
The mask. The mask?
Yeah.
You saw that? How come that crushed the car? They're light. They're just
Yeah.
humans. Like, what? They're not heavy, right?
And they're like not even full humans, because like
The flesh is rotted.
Yeah.
Yeah, come on.
that part reminds me of Signs.
The graphics.
Yeah.
This was my first bus ride.
A lot of firsts for him. First plane ride, first bus ride.
But the villains end up kidnapping Alex in the process.
Nope.
Your lips are chapped. Oh my! Imhotep and his minions use Alex to lead them to where the bracelet points them to, the Scorpion King's tomb.
But I know something you don't.
How did he learn English so fast?
Magic? The eyes have that uncanny valley thing. It was early 2000s.
Yeah. People were like,
So along those train tracks, it's just a bunch of pee and poop.
yep.
Imhotep uses the Book of the Dead to restore Anck-su-namun's soul back into her body.
Now, why? Why do you need to?
The soul is connected to the body, full on.
But that's what reincarnation is. Your soul transcends to a different time and body.
well, I don't
You don't need
know.
another soul.
Oh, really? Are you an
Yes.
expert on this? You
Just
know
like in the
all
first one,
about
his
this?
soul leaves his body at the end.
That was his immortality.
No.
Okay, you're an expert.
Immortality. Oh, my immortality left.
But then this makes Evelyn unlock memories of a past life when she was Princess Nefertiri and the protector of the Scorpion King bracelet in ancient times. Rachel Weisz and Patricia Velasquez had to train for 5 months for their epic fight scenes.
Oh,
Buffy.
Buffy, please no. Yogurt covered raisins.
Chocolate yogurt covered raisins. Oh, do you remember Snoop Dogg did there was like a parody and Snoop Dogg was that guy?
Hell no.
I think it was like for the awards.
So cool.
Snoop Dogg?
They arrive at a hidden oasis where there's a big standoff between pygmy mummies, Imhotep's cult, and the O'Connell clan.
Oh yeah, they're like little,
Yeah. They're pygmies.
but they were shrunk. That's what a pygmy is.
Yeah.
Now you know. What this reminds me of is just those summer blockbuster movies where you just couldn't wait to get to the next summer blockbuster and watch all these great movies. You just anticipated it, you know?
Yeah.
Did you see this one in theaters?
You know, I don't remember seeing it in theaters, but I definitely remember seeing it on home video. He's making sure they drown.
Most of the cult people die.
I think any of the people there are like, I kind of regret joining this cult. What was I thinking?
Ooh, free cheese and wine. I actually like these better than Indiana Jones as well, but don't tell anyone.
Shh.
And Anck-su-namun kills Evelyn.
I will say the kid does not feel anything at all. This was probably very hard for him to do.
CGI those tears.
Like in, what was that show?
Reacher.
Reacher, they CGI'd his tears.
The Scorpion King and his army are resurrected.
I'm reminded at how little Scorpion King is in this one. It's like all this time he's not in it. Holy crap. It's an hour 38 in and he's not in it. I don't think he knows how a glory hole works. Come off it. Who is saying that?
While Jonathan and Alex resurrect Evelyn using the Book of the Dead.
That was the worst crying. He was like, you know what they should do? They should just go. They're like alive. Go live in that time.
Yeah, what do you guys need?
Like-
What more do you need?
Yeah.
Go take a vacation.
Mom told me.
Mom taught me.
Look,
He's not even shocked there. He's like trying really hard. They're like, okay, your mother's coming back to life. Look surprised. Look.
I already booked the role.
Rick and Imhotep fight against the Scorpion King.
Oh, here we go. I don't remember that part. No, that looks okay because he's in the dark, you know what I mean?
Right. That is terrible.
Ugh. Because he's so obviously not there.
I know.
So why get the rock if you're not gonna, it's just, they just weren't ready to recreate humans yet. You know what I mean? Not yet.
Evelyn and Anck-su-namun also have a showdown while the Magi have to face off against an undead jackal army.
What happens if your voice cracks during one of these moments?
That sucks. You have to fight them.
I don't want to.
Remember how Brendan Fraser sustained a bunch of injuries on the last movie? Well, on The Mummy Returns, he tore a spinal disc, cracked a rib, and injured his knees during production. You gotta admit, this man goes the distance for his roles. Rick kills the Scorpion King using a scepter, which causes the Scorpion King, his army, and the Oasis to disappear. Imhotep sadly gets abandoned by a Noxuna moon.
Aw, I do feel bad for him in this moment.
Oh no, he wasn't so... well...
Who then gets eaten by scarabs. Rick and the gang manage to get out just before the Oasis is swallowed up.
You know, Indiana Jones 4 had a scene like this. They were in a pyramid and it was like...
Oh, with the aliens. Yeah.
Oh man, they took it from this movie. As my dad always says, shades of Indiana Jones. And I'm like, shades?
But not before Jonathan grabs a giant diamond that sits on top of the pyramid.
Whoa, he got it.
He always gets the treasure in the end. It was good.
The Mummy Returns was released in 2001 and made $435 million worldwide at the box office. It still holds up in my opinion as a solid entry in the franchise. Not perfect, but perfectly fun. The Mummy animated series was created by Universal Cartoon Studios. It aired on the Kids WB network on September of 2001. The series is set in 1938 and it's supposed to act like a sequel to The Mummy Returns. Its second and final season started on February of 2003 and was renamed The Mummy: Secrets of the Magi. 4 months later, the show was canceled. I sat down to watch the first episode of the series all the way through. It's only 22 minutes, so what do I have to lose, you know? The O'Connell family is on, you guessed it, an archaeological dig again. Okay, Rick O'Connell is blonde, Evelyn is a redhead. You win for the domino thing again. Come on. Remember? You remember? Yeah, this is during the time when they were making animated series out of everything, like Men in Black, Godzilla. There's a bracelet that attaches to Alex. Yes, that happens again. It's called the Manacle of Osiris. Book of the Dead, okay? Greatest hit so far. And they have how many episodes of this? By the way, at least Imhotep had the decency to go fully bald. He's not leaving the top naked and just in case a cascade of hair in the back. It somehow unleashes Imhotep. Again. Oh, that's Imhotep? Are you serious? Would you let the guy die in hell already? He's earned that. Can you imagine? It's like if the Batman movies only ever had the Joker and never made a new bad guy. My underwear. Okay, I'll stop saying that. It'd be funny if the rest of the show is just the map, so they save money. And then they went here, and then they went here. They even have the Twister thing from the second movie. Come on. It ends on a cliffhanger that we all saw coming. You know, Imhotep gets defeated, but he disappears. I'm sure he'll be back again and again and again and again. This episode is insultingly derivative of the first two movies. Okay, well, that's that. There was also a PlayStation 2 and PC game based on this animated series. And now we arrive at the third and final film in the Mummy franchise, Tomb of the Dragon Emperor. Is this really the weakest film in the trilogy? Let's find out. Rob Cohen took over the director's chair for this one. Even though Stephen Sommers produced the film, it still felt very different with this new director on board. The idea for the third movie was based off of a real emperor named Qin Shi Huang, who was buried with thousands of clay-crafted warriors called the Terracotta Army. Not a terrible jumping off point.
Chocolate?
No, I'm really feeling this. All the stories you could tell us.
In ancient China, the Dragon Emperor, played by Jet Li, wants to build the Great Wall and conquer his enemies.
At least there's good action sequences.
He's power hungry and a dick. As he grows older, he gets freaked out that he won't have enough time to do all that he has to do. So he hires real-life vampire Brian Johnson to help him reverse his age. Just kidding. He hires a powerful sorceress played by Michelle Yeoh to help him in his quest for immortality. The Emperor is instantly smitten.
That's a glue-on mustache.
And orders his general, Ming, to ensure that no man touches her. He also orders the two of them to find the Oracle of Bones, a book of secret spells that can do all sorts of magic. Unfortunately, Ming touches the sorceress a lot.
Sex?
I guess.
Narrator's like, I guess.
Which pisses the Emperor off. He ends up killing Ming.
Oh, they're gonna have it torn apart? That's messed up.
and stabbing the sorceress, but not before she curses the Emperor, turning him into
He's becoming chocolate?
chocolate or something.
Don't you feel bad for his army? Because, like, they're just following orders.
They should have thought of that.
Michelle Yeoh and Jet Li were welcome additions. I feel like they could have been used to great effect, but they barely showed Jet Li in his human form, so I feel like he didn't get enough screen time when you think about it.
Not a terrible opening.
Yeah,
A worthy opening, even.
yeah.
Sour Patch Kids used to be my go-to in a movie theater.
Same. Sour Patch Kids, popcorn, and a Coke.
Sometimes Reese's Pieces.
I used to be into those too.
I like you.
I like the way you think.
Meanwhile, Rick and Evelyn are bored out of their minds in retirement.
Could lose a nipple doing that.
Bite on this.
That's not how you catch a fish, O'Connell.
Who are you to say?
Oh yeah, I forgot they live at Wayne Manor.
Oh, yeah.
But are approached by the British government to bring a historical gemstone called the Eye of Shangri-La back to China.
Is he even looking at him? Look at Brendan Fraser. It looks like he wasn't even looking at the guy in that face.
As you've probably gathered, Rachel Weisz didn't return for this film, citing that she didn't like the script. She had also just given birth to her son at the time, so yeah. Actress Maria Bello was cast as Evelyn instead. I'm sorry to say it, but this really killed the chemistry between our heroes, Rick and Evelyn.
You just can't change Rachel Weisz.
Yeah. She doesn't have the same sparkle in her eye. They're so boring.
They seem like the strangers because they kind of are.
That would have hurt.
Yeah. She could have broken a tooth. That was too good, I would say.
Yeah, that was dangerous.
Anyway, fast forward to 1942. Rick's son Alex and archaeology professor Roger Wilson uncover the Emperor's tomb. The part of Alex O'Connell was recast with Luke Ford, and honestly he looks almost as old as Brendan Fraser in this one, so it was super distracting to us. He also has an American accent now for some reason.
You want to explain to me why you tried to kill me?
Whatever happened to little Gordon Ramsay?
Hey, I know him. He's the curator. He works at the British Museum.
Chocolate?
It's just not right. It's not right.
Chocolate.
Yes.
But a young woman in disguise attacks them. However, they survive and bring the sarcophagus to Shanghai.
Was that a leg? It looked like a leg.
Yeah, it was. That was the weirdest sidekick I've ever
Yeah,
seen.
it would look sloppy.
Did they really need the wire work for that little jump?
It was to show that the essence
wire-
of the kung fu, you know?
No, real Kung Fu doesn't have wire works. The essence of the Kung Fu.
The O'Connell clan meet up in Shanghai.
Yeah, I don't like their chemistry. It's just not.
It's so weird. This movie feels out of shape.
Yeah.
I don't mind having a new Mummy because you need to. Like there's all this action, but it doesn't feel very frenetic. Like my heart rate couldn't be any lower. Look at how slow this chase is.
Is she immortal or something?
She's undead-ish. But this is the director who did the Fast and Furious.
Oh.
And Triple X.
They find out Wilson is working for a military faction that wants to resurrect the Dragon Emperor to conquer the world. They resurrect the Emperor, who orders the general to kill Wilson as a demonstration of obedience. The O'Connells try to stop the Emperor with the help of the woman who attacked Alex earlier. She reveals her name is Lynn. She possesses the only dagger that can kill the Emperor. Lynn calls on some Yetis for some reason to help with their battle.
What?
Polar bears from China.
These abominable snowmen or what?
Honestly, the Yetis were really stupid. Gina and I had a hard time figuring out what they were for like 20 minutes.
What is that supposed to be?
It's a squatch.
Now they're just throwing ideas at the screen. These things are pretty freaking random. Can I have a chocolate?
Here.
Oh. What?
What?
They just did this.
That's really... It lost the plot.
It never had it. You ruined it. I won't take this.
Anyway, we find out that Lin is the daughter of General Ming and the sorceress. Lin and her mother used the oracle bones on themselves back in the day, which gave them immortality. We find out that they have been guarding the Emperor's tomb for over 2,000 years. Rick gets wounded and almost dies, but the sorceress saves him.
Are you gonna reverse another death?
If the Yeti had not found me.
Yetis.
Yetis.
Why?
That was an awkward hand.
Yeah. I don't feel this.
It's a lie. He'll pump and dump you.
The Emperor regains his full powers and raises an undead army.
So mummies versus mummies. I don't care.
The sound recorder's just got his wife puking one night.
Brendan Fraser, he was not feeling this one as much.
The sorceress and her daughter use a spell to raise an undead army of the Emperor's enemies, led by General Ming. A big battle ensues. Rick and Alex fight the Emperor and stab him with a dagger. The sorceress dies, then the Emperor dies, and his army disappears.
Drink your Ovaltine.
And where's the General Ming guy? Because his wife's dying, or his woman.
He's like, yeah, you can't tie me down.
Does he ever play a good guy?
Yeah.
That movie Fearless.
The One, Romeo Must Die.
Oh yeah, he was a good guy in that one.
Kiss of the Dragon, he was a cop.
Watch, she's gonna...
You just said, watch.
Just watch.
Watch. Just watch. That was cute, babe.
They never let General Ming and the mom have a moment.
The O'Connells return to Shanghai. Lynn and Alex fall in love. Jonathan takes the Eye of Shangri-La and goes to Peru to get away from mummies.
There's mummies in Peru.
They know.
The Mummy 3 was released in 2008. It came and went in US theaters. It was the lowest grossing film in the trilogy, it made $405 million worldwide? Okay, I did not expect that. I guess it goes to show that this movie series was still hugely loved at the time, at least overseas. In America, it only made $102 million, which was really anemic for this mainline franchise. Now let me ask you guys something. Should they make a fourth one now that Brendan Fraser is having a career resurgence? Let me know your thoughts. Well, that, my fellow adventurers, is where the Mummy franchise ends and the Scorpion King movies begin. Can I make it through 5 Scorpion King movies? Why did they make 5 Scorpion King movies? Let's find out.